Once upon a time, a fairy tale was told for generations.
At its heart is a young woman, gentle, hard-working, and kind.
There's a stern stepmother, two stepsisters, a mysterious fairy godmother, and a young prince. You may have heard this story when you were very young.
Almost everyone loves the kind young woman at the heart of it.
Meanwhile, the stepmother and her two daughters are usually the most hated. But today, let's look at those events from a different angle. Because sometimes, one unexpected event can change the course of a life.
One day, the young prince announces a grand ball, a fateful night.
And of course, the kind young woman wants to go.
If you were the stepmother, what would you do? Would you let her go?
Don't answer yet. Put yourself in her shoes.
And imagine you also have a daughter, someone you deeply love.
If the royal ball could change your child's entire life, maybe many people would put their own child first.
But that doesn't mean the stepmother was right. It only helps us understand why she made that choice.
Me? I'd hand her 2 baskets of identical seeds and say, go ahead, separate them first.
But then, one tiny detail changed everything. At last, the clock struck 12. Her dress vanished. The grand carriage became a pumpkin again. She returned in torn, dirty clothes, just as she had before.
Maybe that detail was simply reminding us to be on time.
Because sometimes, being just a little late creates a huge mess.
But that still isn't the most interesting part. There's a question almost nobody ever thinks to ask. Her stepmother wouldn't let her go. So how did she make it to the ball? The first answer is obvious. Everyone remembers the mysterious fairy woman magic. A beautiful dress, a grand carriage, and glass slippers.
But if the fairy woman were the only help, what would happen next? Could she really make it to the ball?
But think back for a moment. There's one detail almost everyone forgets.
Those little mice and the loyal old dog.
It wasn't just the fairy. Her little friends helped her too.
Maybe magic matters, but it isn't everything. And not everyone who helps us is a fairy godmother.
Sometimes ordinary friends simply show up at exactly the right moment. Sometimes the smallest change can lead somewhere completely unexpected.
But the story isn't finished. There's another question, maybe the bigger one. What if nobody stopped her? But she simply didn't want to go.
Would she ever meet the young prince?
There would be no dance. And the young prince would never know her.
So who really changed her life?
Was it the stepmother? The fairy woman? Or the young prince?
In my view, none of them.
The fairy woman offered an opportunity. Her friends helped her through the hard part. But the choice was hers. She decided not to let that opportunity pass.
Maybe. That's the real magic. If opportunity won't come to you, take a step toward it. Because in the end, nobody else can live your life for you.
But the story still has one mystery left.
After midnight, the dress vanished. The carriage and horses changed back too.
So why did the glass slipper remain?
To this day, there still isn't one perfect answer.
Some say it's simply a detail that doesn't quite make sense.
Others argue that if the slipper vanished, the story would have ended. Others argue that if the slipper vanished, the story would have ended.
Maybe a great story doesn't need to be perfect in every detail. What matters is that it still makes us stop and think. Maybe that little mystery is exactly why the story stayed with us. So, what do you think this story really means?